Understood, engineering. Bridge out. Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. We're here aboard the Enterprise, and I'm filming the video this particular way because I wanted to show off an app on my phone. It's a lot of fun, and it's a game that allows you to play a Star Trek scenario, but instead of being graphically representing the ships and the combat, it mostly takes place in kind of a theater of the mind. It's very addictive. It's low power consumption. So if your phone is low on power, you can play the heck out of this game all you like. And doesn't require online. There's no connectivity issues. It's a great game. I play the living heck out of it all the time. I've got it on my phone, and like I say, it is the Star Trek experience. And here it is. It's called Deep Space Die 6. The symbol is kind of a die 6, and it's shortened as DSD6 when you get the app. So it's a really, really cool game. What I like about it is the symbols that are used have kind of this look of like you're pressing buttons or something. It doesn't look like a game, and it really operates mostly in your imagination, which is a lot of fun. Well, let's fire up a new game here. Okay, so what have we got going on here? Here's that sort of LCARS interface that I mentioned. At the bottom of the screen, we have 6 die 6. Now, they are, just think like Yahtzee. This is where your different dice rolls are all going to appear. You have 6 die that are going to be rolled. Now, instead of numbers, they're things like fire the weapons, raise the shields, repair the ship, etc., etc. On the topic of repairing the ship, if you see just above the die 6, there's like an orange bar. That's your hit points. That's the hull, kind of like my sleeve of my captain's uniform here. Orange indicates how much hull you have left. To the right of that, we have green bars indicating your current shield status. The difference primarily between these is when you get hit by something, it'll hit the shields first, but eventually it'll get through to your hull unless you get the shields back up. Similarly, when you repair either, the hull you can only repair one piece or 2 pieces at a time, whereas with the shields, when you put them back up, they completely go back up themselves. All four boxes will fill. This will become apparent as I play a game. Above that, we have our current objectives, opponents, things that we need to look out for. There will be 26 of these, and I'm already looking at the first 3. As we go through, more items will be added to the list, so you gotta kind of keep on top of that. But also, when you reach 0, that's the end of the game and you get a score. So that's the game in general, but I have to show you the game in play in order to get the idea. What do we got to deal with right off the bat? Well, first of all, we have our comms are offline, which means we can't assign any commander dice. Commander dice are basically like the captain who can manage to inform different crew members to change roles and to assign to different things. But right now, he can't communicate with the rest of the ship because we have our comms offline. How will that be fixed? By this little gear icon. If we roll the dice that have that little orange gear, then that means we can turn off we can repair the comms being offline. Secondly, we have a drone that's going to attack us. Third, behind the drone or with the drone, there are some space pirates out there. Now you do see some dice beside them. What that means is every turn, as I get my different things down here that I can use to control the situation, the bad guys, the other things out there in the universe, will be rolling dice. And in this case, let's say they rolled a 1. Well, I would be okay because the drone doesn't hit on a 1, nor do the space pirates. But if the universe rolls a 6, that means the drone is going to hit me and the space pirates are going to hit me. Does that make sense? Is that clear? What do the other numbers mean? Well, the 1 beside the drone indicates he has 1 hit point, so it's just a little drone. It doesn't take much to destroy him. The space pirates have 2 hit points. When I fire my ship, my lasers or phasers, we'll use the Star Trek analogy. When I fire my phasers, it will do 1 point of damage the first time I fire. It'll do 2 points of damage the second time I fire. So if I was to shoot, and we'll see what happens when I roll my dice, if I was to shoot and get a 1 phaser attack, if I used that against the space pirates, it would only do 1 point of damage and he would still be around with his remaining hit point. If I was to use it against the drone, it would wipe him out right away. Let me roll the dice and we'll see what we get because we have a few things we've got to deal with here. Okay, we have several symbols down there. We have purple, which is science and also medical. Science and medical. Think of purple as science and medical. We have a captain. We have a commander dice. Unfortunately, he's useless because the comms are offline. We also have this weird grayed out symbol. Now what that is, I kind of think of that as like you have sent out a little drone of your own to do some research to scan the environment, and while he's doing that, that one block, that number 3 out of the 6 positions, is kind of taken and can't be used. There are ways to free that up, which I will show later, but right now it means you're kind of without that particular spot for your dice to roll. We also have the repair, which I'm going to be using in a moment to get rid of the comms offline, and we have 2 phaser shots. So I think we're going to be okay here. Let me assign the orange repair to the comms offline, so I just tap that, and it says, where would you like to, engineering, that's it. Where would you like to assign engineering? I'm going to assign it to the mission comms offline. That's going to then remove that, and I can use my captain. Assigned to comms offline. There, that's now removed the comms offline from the top of the list. Excellent. Secondly, I'm going to attack with my phasers. Let's fire. Where would you like to fire 1 damage? Well, I could do the drone or the space pirates. Let's do the drone so that he is no longer a threat. Boom, he's gone. And I've still got another phaser down there, and luckily it will now do 2 points of damage, so I can use that against the space pirates. Let's do that now. Let's fire 2 damage, and because there's only the space pirates left, it automatically says, do you want to shoot the space pirates? Yes, I do. And they're gone, and now we have a clean slate, and everything is good. What do I want to do? Well, I could end my turn, but I do still have that little grayed out symbol of a radar thing. There is a scanner going out there doing its thing. It's an unavailable slot for me. But luckily, the purple dice does allow me to clear that as an available piece. So let's use the purple dice to return my scanner. Let's do that now. And that has brought back that available spot. Now I have all 6 available. And it's telling me, well, you've done all you can. Do you want to end your phase? Yes, yes I do. It will now add a new item to the list of opponents. Now we have a boarding ship. And he rolled a 5. I don't know if you noticed that. That means he didn't do anything, because he only attacks on a 3 or a 4. And when he attacks, he does 2 points of damage. So I can now roll my dice. You see I've got the ability down at the bottom. All 6 spots are available. And what I'd like to do is get phasers, but I guess this is the random element. We don't know what we're going to get, so let's roll the dice. Oh, excellent. Okay, I have several phasers. I have 3 of them. What is interesting about the boarding ship, you might notice way up in the corner, it does say red symbol for the phaser icon, and also 2 infirmary. What does that mean? That means that I could either try and do damage to the boarding ship, and given he's got 4 hit points, that's going to take all of the phasers that I have, or I could just use 1 red unit and apply it to this and get rid of him right away at the cost of sending one of my crew to the infirmary. But that should be okay, because let's do that. So I'm now going to use the red dice. I could either do 1 damage to the boarding ship, or, for the sake of this video, let's assign him to the boarding ship. That's going to get rid of the boarding ship, but it will be at the cost of now having somebody in the infirmary. Done. Do you see now how that red piece has turned into a red sort of crimson die 6 symbol down there? That means he's now in the infirmary, and we don't have the ability to use that guy until pretty much we get medical to fix that up, which luckily we do have. We have purple right here. I would like to return a unit from the infirmary, please. Done. And there's really nothing else I can do here. I have phasers standing by. Green is the ability to recharge my shields, but I haven't taken any damage. And the yellow, orangish button means I could actually repair my hull or get rid of the comms offline, but none of that is in the list, so there's really nothing else for me to do here. Let's end my turn. New round. We have an interceptor. He rolled 3, and he hit me for 1 point of damage. Did you see that? So, let's explain these numbers then. He has before him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, got this glare on the screen there. He has in the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means if he rolls any of those, which he did, he rolled a 3. That means he does 1 hull point of damage, and he has. If you look at my shields, instead of having all 4 buttons full, now I have missed 1 because he did some damage to my shields. You get how the combat works here? So let's proceed. Now it's my turn to roll my dice. And I think we're going to be okay. So, what we will do is fire once at him with the phasers. Yes, deal 1 damage. He's down to 2 hit points. I still have another phaser roll down here, and because they do 1 point of damage on the first round, 2 points of damage on the second round, that means I can now wipe him out with the other shot. Do 2 points of damage to the interceptor, please. And he's gone! Yay! Now, I also have some dice still left over. I have a captain, I have the ability to repair, and I have 2 shield options. Well, since my shields had been hit and have taken 1 point of damage, let's use one of the shield buttons to recharge the shields. Back to 4. Now, it wasn't very clear there because I only took 1 point of damage, but if I was like at really low or if my shields were completely gone, that 1 dice piece, that 1 button, would have actually fully restored my shields entirely. That's the benefit of the shields. All right, that's the end of that round. We're down to 21 out of 26. Let's go again. Now we have some, we have some hijackers who rolled a 5, and they do more damage because they're a more aggressive opponent. On a 4 or a 5, they will dole 2 points of damage, and he did roll a 5. So as you can see, my shields that were at full, they have now taken 2 points of damage. So let's roll our dice and see what we get. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, we have a bit of a problem. We have no phasers, and you can see that beside the hijackers there are 2 blue symbols. That means captains will get rid of the hijackers. I have 1 down there. That's very handy. But I don't have a second, so he's going to be around for a while. So, I guess first thing we will do is apply, or we'll bring the shields back up because we got that green. Recharge the shields. You can also use them to do a stasis, but we'll explain that later. Let's recharge the shields. Shields are back up full. I will apply the captain to the hijackers, assigned to the mission, and I don't know if you can make it out there, but now the 2 blue symbols for the hijackers, 1 has grayed out because I've applied 1 captain to the 2 captains required to eliminate the hijackers. If I get another blue captain on my next roll, then I will have an ability to get rid of the hijackers with that other captain. I'll show you that. So that's pretty much all we can do here, except for we do have one of the scanners out doing its job and using up an available space. Luckily, I have purple, I have science, we can use them to recall that scanner, so let's do that. Return the scanner. There. Now I have, there's nothing for me to do with the orange buttons because I've lost no hull and I don't have anything, there's nothing like comms offline that I can use, so we're kind of out of use here. Let's end the turn. Now the problem's going to be, in addition to the hackers, I will have a second opponent. Yes. The assault scout. Oops, sorry. The assault cruiser. So we got an assault cruiser, and he rolled, I think it was a 2, so he has done 2 points of damage to me. Do you see that he can, on a 1 or a 2, he can do 2 hull? He did. He got a 2, so he did 2 points of damage, so my shields are now down 2 points. The good news is, the hijackers did no damage because the 2 doesn't really help them. They only attack on a 4 or a 5. So, I'm now going to roll. Unfortunately, because I used one of my captains to deal with the hijackers, that particular slot is booked. That is reserved because the captain is still dealing with the hijackers. So let's roll our remaining 5 dice and see what we get. Well, that's very handy. We've got another captain. Thank goodness for that. I'm going to use that captain to actually get rid of the hijackers right now. So let me just hit the blue and apply to the mission the hijackers. and we have got rid of the hijackers. Now we just have to wait for our next turn because those 2 spots are taken. And again, a scanner is in use, so we are actually unable to use that bottom piece, and without any purple, we're a little bit hooped. We can't use anything to get rid of that until that scanner just finishes its job and comes back to the ship. Well, we can at least shoot the assault cruiser. Let's do that with the red. Fire, 1 damage. And he goes down to 3 hit points. There's not much else we can do. Oh, wait, no, sorry, I take it back. We can use the shields. Now, I want to show the other ability of the green button. I have used it before to raise the shields up, and I could do that here. There's also the stasis beam. That essentially freezes whatever opponent you select it for and use it to make him miss a turn. I'm going to do that right now for the purpose of this demonstration. So I'm going to hit green. I'm going to say stasis beam the assault cruiser instead of recharge the shields. So now he has a green share symbol beside him, and that indicates he can't do anything next turn. So if a 1 or 2 comes up when the opponent rolls their dice, he won't be able to shoot me because he's in a current stasis. And I can't do anything with yellow, so let's discard that and roll the next turn. Let's see who gets added to the list, and let's see what they roll for their dice. Friendly Fire. All tactical dice go directly to... Okay, that was a rather quick description. What happened there is that was Friendly Fire. When you get that result, what happens is any red phasers that you have, which I did in the corner, they actually get eliminated for the next until you fix that problem. So now I have 2 of my pieces unusable. I can't use the Crimson Die 6 spot, nor can I use the scanner spot. I've only got 4 dice to roll now. That's going to make this kind of interesting. But luckily, that didn't mean that the assault cruiser got to fire, which is good. However, he's lost his stasis indicator now. He could hit me the next time he rolls dice. So let's roll my dice and see what I can do. Okay, this is not bad. Not bad at all. I've got 3 science guys. Let's use the first one as medical to fix the problem that we have with the Friendly Fire. So I'm going to get rid of that Crimson Die 6 by using 1 science guy. And I'm going to apply him to return the units from the infirmary. Yay! That is now the crimson piece gone, and I can use that available spot next turn. My other science guys, I'm going to use 1 of them to return my scanner. Yay! Now that other die 6 is available, and I can, when I next roll my dice, I get all 6 I have all 6 dice available to roll. There's nothing else I can do here. I can't put my shields up because I don't have a green piece, and I can't repair anything, and there's nothing left to do with the science guy. So let's end the turn, see what gets added to the list, and see if a 1 or 2 gets rolled, because then the assault cruiser is going to attack me. A meteoroid, but a number 5, so I'm okay. The meteoroid is... Oops, sorry, you can't see that. The meteoroid is a very dangerous piece because it's going to slowly make its way toward you, and when it hits, it's going to do 5 hull damage. I don't know if you can read it out in the description there. -1 health. When destroyed, it does -5. What that means is, if the meteoroid, which has 4 hit points, by the way, if the meteoroid rolls a 1, then it's going to remove 1 off its health each turn. You would think that's a good thing. No, when it reaches 0, that means it crashes into me. And there's nothing you can do about that. Essentially, you have to play a waiting game with the meteoroid. It is destroyable, but then the damage will still hit you. So the meteoroid is very, very bad. But let's see what dice I roll. At least I've got all 6 dice available. Okay, well, one of my scanners is out again, so that's bad. I do have 1 phaser, a couple of repairs, and the ability to use the shield. Let's get rid of the assault carrier first. Let's attack him with the phasers. Deal 1 damage to assault carrier cruiser. His 3 hit points have gone now to 2. What else can I do? I could use my shields. Or let's use the ability of the captain. I have that blue symbol down there. What he can do is I can choose to have him change one of the available spots, one of the available crew, so to speak, into another of any designation, or I could use him to re-roll all of the available dice. Let's just do the first one to begin with. Let's choose the captain. And I want to change one die to any face of my choosing. Let's choose the top option. Which die do I want to change? Well, I don't want to do the shields because that's actually going to be useful. So let's change the orange repair guy. Which of these would you like to turn it into? Well, why don't I turn it into phasers? Because those are all my 6 dice. Why don't I turn it into phasers like this? Okay. And with that phasers, what do you want to do? I want to fire 2 damage. At which target? Well, it just makes sense to do the assault cruiser because that'll get rid of him. So let's hit the assault cruiser. And he's gone. Yay! Now there's just the meteoroid, which is going to be making its way slowly toward me. I will deal with that later. Since we've got a shield ability, we could use that as a stasis beam against the meteoroid, but he's just going to continue to make his way toward us, so I'm not going to waste that. I'm going to recharge the shields. Shields are back up. We have 1 pip left, but there's nothing we can do with it because it's just repairs, so let's end the turn. And another assault cruiser. Uh-oh. This one does damage on 4 or 5, but he didn't roll a 4 or 5, so we're in the clear. Thank goodness for that. I only have 5 of my available spots, not all 6, because one is a scanner off doing its work. So let's roll my dice and see what I get. Okay, that was very, very bad. I got a whole bunch of scanners. Now, the game is fair enough to go, okay, if you get like 5 scanners in a row, we'll be kind and we'll return a couple of them. So I only had 1 scanner off there busy doing stuff. It has returned it, and of the 5 new ones it had added, at least 2 of them have gone available. I do have 2 scanners out doing stuff though, so I'm still in a bit of a bind because I have 2 spots that I can't use, and admittedly, I don't even have anything I could do with that orange piece. You'll notice the new one got added, Panel Explosion. I may not assign engineering dice. Well, there we go. I can't even use that orange piece anyway. It's an engineering dice, and due to the panel explosion, it's hooped. Now, if I had a science guy, a purple one, I could apply that to the panel explosion, and then it would be gone. But I don't have one, so let's see what the next dice roll is. At least we're halfway-ish. We're 15 out of 26 here. Let's roll again. Now we have a drone. Okay, the meteoroid rolled a 1. I don't know if you saw there, but it has gone from a 4 down to a 3. It's getting closer. It's gonna hit me. Every time the dice come up as a number 1, the meteoroid reduces its hull down, or its hit points down 1. You would think that's good. No, that means it's getting closer and it's gonna hit you for 5 hit points. Get ready. Okay, let's roll my dice and see what I end up with for options here. Interesting. I have a captain, 2 phasers, and a shield. Okay. Let's fire the phasers. First of all, let's get rid of that drone, because I find the more of these things line up in the list, the more dangerous it's going to be, because every dice roll means more and more things can hit you. Let's go with do some damage to the drone. Drone is gone. Yay. Let's fire at, oh gosh, I don't know, the assault cruiser? Yeah, okay, 2 damage to this cruiser. That gives him only 2 hit points left. Now, this is where being captain of the ship starts to come in. What do I want to do now? I've got a green symbol, which means I could recharge my shields, but my shields are at full. I could also use it as a disruptor beam to put a stasis on either the assault cruiser or the meteoroid, but the meteoroid's going to get to me anyway. I might as well delay that as long as I can. Do I want to use the stasis beam to make the assault cruiser? No. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the captain, and I'm going to tell him to change the green guy into purple so that I can apply it to the panel explosion and make that go away. There. So that's what I did. I used the captain to change one of our crew into science, And then science was used to get rid of the panel explosion. And our list is not too bad now. Let's roll again. Cloaked threats, that's a bad one. The meteoroid has rolled a 1, so he's getting closer. Okay, now he's down to 2. When he reaches 0, he's going to hit me, and I'm going to take 5 damage. So, oh boy. And we've still got scanners gone away down at the bottom of the screen, so we only have 4 dice available we can roll. This is getting scary, but we're halfway through. 13 out of 26. We might make it. Roll dice. Oh, that turned out very well. What we have is science, engineering, the shields, and the captain. And as you can see, for the cloaked threats, they can actually be eliminated with a captain and with a green shield icon. So I'm going to do that right now, because luckily I don't really need the captain or the shields currently. So let's apply shields to cloaked mission. You can see that's now gone, and also grayed out the green on the cloaked threat. Let's do the same thing with the captain. I've assigned to cloaked threats, and it's gone. Yay. Now, there's not much else I can do because... Oh, sorry. Nope, I can. I do have a science guy, which I will use to return 1 scanner. Yay. We still have a solitary scanner out there doing its job, but at least we've got 5 dice that we can roll. Proceeding. Solar winds and a 4. Okay. Because a 4 was rolled, the assault cruiser got to hit me for 2 points of damage. Solar winds are just as nasty as the meteoroid. If the opponent, if the computer, if the universe, if you will, rolls a 2, I take 5 points of damage. And that meteoroid's getting closer with also its 5 points of damage. I'm getting in a little bit of a bind here. I need to start dealing with some of this stuff. Solar winds, you just have to pray you've got your shields up full, and that's about all you can do. Hope he doesn't roll a 2. Alright, what have I got? Not much use. Okay. What the heck am I going to do here? Okay, you're going to think I'm crazy. I'm going to use the phasers on the meteoroid to take it down to 1 hit point left. And hope, while I still have full hull and I'm about to recharge my shields, the meteoroid hits me before the solar winds hit me. Because if both happen within a couple of turns of each other, I'm toast. So let's do 1 point of damage to the meteoroid. Deal 1 to the meteoroid. There we go. He has 1 hit point left. If he rolls a 1, he hits me. So let's put the shields back up to full. Recharge the shields. I am now hoping the universe rolls either a 1 or a 2, because I've got full hull and full shields, and that's the only way I can deal with either the meteoroid or the solar winds. Wish me luck. Oh dear. Okay. I've entered a nebula, and that means my shields are offline. That was a bit of a silly thing for me to apply the shields, because now I've got nothing. And we have to, like Star Trek 2, we got to get out of the nebula before we can raise our shields. Luckily, except for rolling a 6, the shields will, or the nebula will eventually dissipate. So it already, I think the dice roll was a 5. That means the nebula already lost 1 hit point, and if we can just make sure we don't roll any 6s, the nebula will eventually go away in 2 turns. That means that I really hope he doesn't roll a 1 or a 2 or a 6. Oh boy. Okay. Let's roll my dice. Well, I can do a lot of phaser stuff. Okay, I'm going to take a chance here. This is getting real hairy scary here. I'm going to do damage to the meteoroid. That means he's going to hit me and do 5 damage, but at least I've got lots of hull. And I might get a shield icon, which will help me limp along for a bit. So let's hit the meteoroid for 1 damage and take 5 damage. Look how much hull I have right now. Now I have almost just 1 piece left. That's bad. But that's the choice you have to make when you're commanding a starship. Let's do more phasers. This time they will do 2 damage, so I will use that against the assault cruiser. He's gone. Yay! Well, at least I have some hull, so let's repair the hull. I have 2 whole hull points. Yay! Okay, and I have a science guy, so let's get him to bring back the one of the scanners. Okay, I'm taking a chance here. A new opponent is going to be added to the list, and then we're going to roll some dice. If they roll a 2, that's bad. I'm dead. Luckily, the nebula might weaken a bit. Let's see what we get. Pray for me here. Boost morale. Well, he rolled a 2, and I'm dead. Darn it. Oh well, that's the game. Now, I just wanted to show, like, that I lasted for 12 rounds, and I took 19 points of damage. I didn't do very well there. There are other ways to play this game. If I go to the main menu, you can do easier games, normal games, or harder games where there's a lot more different opponents, a lot more different things to have to fight. And oh my god, this game can be a challenge. But what's nice about it is that it does do a very interesting theater of the mind experience. And if somebody's walking past you, it looks like you're doing something important with your phone. Like nobody would know you're playing a game with that. So I really, really like it for that. I highly recommend Deep Space Die 6. It's a neat way to be captain of a starship here in your own little space and time with your own little phone. I highly recommend it. I think you'll have a good laugh with it if you try that out. So, I'm going to leave it there. Let's head on out to our next destination. Helm, execute. And until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.